What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well. The New York Knicks just came out victorious, 106-100, up against the Los Angeles Clippers at the Staples Center. I can't believe this W. I saw a stat. We haven't beat the Clippers since 2010, but it makes sense. The Knicks have been bad for a long time. Do you really see us beating Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and a guy of DeAndre Jordan? Just what a big-time W. For the most part, their team was healthy. I don't want to hear, oh, the Knicks only won because Serge Ibaka was out. Serge Ibaka's been out for a long time when it comes to this basketball season. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, healthy. They're true stars, of course. Having Rondo, I'm not saying Rondo's a star, I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but they pretty much had their fully healthy team that they really had chemistry with, and just what a huge W. Of course, Patrick Beverley did come back not too long ago, but we just took a dub at the Staples Center, but it was not a pretty start. It was actually really similar to the Denver Nuggets and Phoenix Suns. We were down double digits. I believe at one point we were down 10-0, but we ended up going on this great run. Bullock literally at one point had all 7 of our points, and he actually was missing some shots. Like he airballed one, he missed one like by a mile. And Randall was not playing well in this basketball game. I was like, no way we're going to win this game if Randall does not play well. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, eventually they're going to get hot down the stretch unless we just play with absolute perfection down the stretch when it comes to the defense side of the basketball. But yeah, I thought Barrett played well defensively in this game. You could say there were some fouls that weren't really fouls. I thought one, like he got too much into the body of, I believe, Kawhi Leonard. We know how like tough it is to guard a guy of Kawhi Leonard. The amount of moves in his arsenal, his jab steps, the turnaround jumpers, getting to the rack. He's athletic. He can shoot it from anywhere on the basketball court. He's actually an underrated passer as well. And Paul George, his difficult shot-making ability as well. This game was just off the charts. Like, it was must-see television. Elfrid Payton played like straight-up trash. I'm not trying to bring any negativity. I hate to say it, but we have to say, like, what's real here. Elfrid Payton did not play a good basketball game. It just literally seems like the offense is literally unmotivated when Payton is out there, like, on the basketball floor. I understand, like, he plays solid defense, but I didn't even think his defense was that great, in my opinion. He's going to have certain spurts there and there. He's going to have flashes of big-time steals, but there's no big-time consistency when it comes to his defense. It can be inconsistent at times. But Derrick Rose checked into the game, and the momentum he brought to the table was absolutely insane. The efficiency was off the charts, hitting big-time threes, getting to his spots from mid-range territory. That push shot in his arsenal is absolutely unguardable, right there with like that hook shot when he stops on a dime and does that turnaround hook. The Clippers started to go into like a scoring drought. We really made Kawhi Leonard and Paul George feel really uncomfortable. We actually did a solid job like guarding outside of the perimeter. There were some flashes later in the game that actually did piss me off. But I thought we did, for the most part, play good defense outside on the perimeter. But the thing that actually did hurt us was the second chance points at the beginning of this game. Zubac getting second chance points, or whoever was out there, like when it came to the big man position. We did not do well with that, but we actually made good adjustments when it came to the second half of rebounding the basketball. But the thing about the Clippers, you just can't underestimate them at all. When you have Paul George, when you have a Kawhi Leonard, if you have a Patrick Beverley on the defense side of the basketball, you have Rondo, they're a very experienced team. Kawhi won an NBA championship. Paul George has gone to the Eastern Conference Finals back in the Indiana Pacers days, going up against LeBron James of the Miami Heat. You can't underestimate this team whatsoever. Kawhi Leonard can get hot in a hurry. Paul George can get hot in a hurry. They could find Batum outside the perimeter. It's definitely a scary sight. Actually, Luke Kennard did not play in the basketball game. I guess you could say that's kind of a big deal, but still, they had their 2 main stars healthy in this game. So yeah, before you know it, the Clippers were going on a little bit of a run. But the Knicks, they respond from adversity like absolute champs. And our offense got even better. We started to move the basketball. But I'll say this, Randall did not play well, or he didn't really score the basketball that much, specifically in the first half of this game. I was like, no way we're going to win if Randall doesn't get hot. That was definitely the big-time scare when it came to this Knicks game. I was like, Barrett, he's knocking down his threes from the outside. Derrick Rose is getting buckets. Even Taj Gibson was doing the little things, getting up in the players' jerseys, like really doing a good job guarding those entry passes, really fronting it, like, and getting in front of the centers to make them feel uncomfortable, because he's played out of position the last few years. He's known as this power forward with the Thunder, with the Timberwolves, with the Chicago Bulls, of course, under Tom Thibodeau. But the last couple seasons, he's actually been playing the center position, especially because of the injury of Mitchell Robinson. But Gibson has the basketball IQ. He has the physicality. He has the experience. And he's just been an amazing job. He's definitely one of the big-time unsung heroes, up there with the Nerlens Noel, up there with the Reggie Bullock as well. But when it came to the end of the second quarter, I was like, I want to end this like in the most perfect way possible. We know it's going to be really tough up against the LA Clippers. You want to try to build a lead as much as possible. You don't want this game to be like 5 points or under because we know they have the closers of a Kawhi Leonard, of a Paul George down the stretch. Can we trust Julius Randle yet on a consistent basis like a Kawhi? Like, for example, if Kawhi drills a three and then Julius Randle drills a three and Kawhi comes down and shoots another one and drills it, can you trust Julius Randle to absolutely match that, you know? But yes, they actually ended up getting some momentum. Their ball movement was actually beautiful. Yes, they do have these star players, but there's a reason they're so good. You could have star players, but it could also not work out if you don't have the right system, if you really don't have the right chemistry. But their ball movement was off the charts. But there was actually like a few plays as well where they sailed the ball out of bounds. They were starting to go on a run, like Paul George was starting to cook, but then someone sails the ball out of bounds, which definitely did help, and we're starting to cook and then really play our brand of basketball of a slow, grinded out style of play. And then you take a look at halftime. The Knicks were shooting 51%, I believe. The Clippers were shooting under 45% from the field. Again, we just made Kawhi Leonard feel so uncomfortable. There was one play, there was like 3 players up in his jersey, and we actually deflected the shot. There are certain things like you're going to have to live with when you play a Kawhi or a Paul George. You're going to have to double team one of them, or you're going to have to allow certain entry passes. Would you rather allow like Zubac to get a bucket or Kawhi to knock down a shot and really get in rhythm, you know? But literally, Derrick Rose did not cool off in this game, but neither did the Clippers. Like, they had their droughts, but they just responded after adversity every single time. There's a reason this Clippers team is so good. Experience, talent, just going for the win no matter what. They're like a no-nonsense program, or they're just a no-nonsense basketball club. But yeah, also, like, in the third quarter, Barrett, I thought, played really well. I know he didn't have his 20, 25 points, but he played lights out. Great defense. Like, he was playing good defense. He was knocking his shots down outside on the perimeter. In transition, he's starting to realize this better. When you're in transition, he doesn't force the issue. He slows it down, brings it outside on the perimeter, and doesn't force it at a big man. Or if he does attack the basket, he gets, like, into the middle area of the basket. Sometimes he only looks to use the backboard, which sometimes that cannot be available. But now he's starting to use that teardrop shot in his arsenal, and his touch is starting to get better. But as soon as you thought the Clippers were coming back, Derrick Rose, big shot. And I also have to give credit to Obi Toppin at the start of the third quarter. He was really aware where to be out there on the basketball court, knocking down a three. There was one play I thought Obi fumbled it out of bounds, or almost did, but he actually did a good job concentrating after just a beautiful dish by Taj Gibson. There was a beautiful dish by Taj Gibson after entry passing it to Taj Gibson and then finding Obi Toppin and throwing it down. Just what we were able to do without Quickly and Burks. Like, this bench played lights out, and the bench was definitely a big reason we won this game, really carrying that scoring load. Again, Derrick Rose was off the freaking charts. To see his jump shot improve throughout the years has been absolutely amazing. And then the fourth quarter is where it's at. It was like, to tell the true story, are the Knicks going to fold to the Clippers? Are they really going to fold down the stretch of this basketball game? Like, the Knicks were playing well. They were getting their buckets. They were getting stops. They actually still did a good job keeping Paul George in check. There were certain shots like Paul George would have freaking flamethrowered us from downtown. But for some reason, I guess we tired him out and just made him feel uncomfortable. But after going on this run of scoring the basketball, I'm not going to lie, I was really frustrated. Derrick Rose, after scoring the ball, absolutely crazy. There was kind of a spurt that he started missing shots. And there was one play, he was kind of lazy with the basketball. I believe he was looking for RJ. And we turned the ball over, and they scored in transition. Batum threw it down. And before you know it, we don't get back on defense once again after a missed shot. And they find Beverly in the corner. And before you know it, it's a 6-point lead after being up double digits. You can never be happy with a lead in any NBA game, but especially up against the Los Angeles Clippers. But I'll say this. Barrett hit some big-time momentum threes from downtown that we would have wanted Quickly to hit, or what we would have needed Quickly to hit, because we know Quickly always hits those shots from the logo that gives us big-time momentum. But there was one play, I thought this game would have had a totally different outcome if this did not happen, because this was huge momentum in my opinion. Derrick Rose dribbling the basketball, top of the key. Derrick Rose, Barrett was calling for the basketball. He was near the corner, which is a shot. He's just absolutely perfected catch-and-shoot situations. He's calling for the ball. And I'm literally live streaming this game. I'm pass the ball to freaking RJ. They finally pass it to RJ, and RJ just absolutely drills it. Nothing but net. But there was actually some altercations with a DeMarcus Cousins, with a guy of Julius Randle, of course, who's been our number one option and just been amazing this season for the New York Knicks. But you think about it, Rondo, he's a guy that can kind of get frustrated. Same thing with DeMarcus Cousins. So you kind of wanted this game down the stretch because these guys aren't even keel. These guys aren't cool, calm, and collected. But Julius Randle, I thought, played well down the stretch. I actually wanted Derrick Rose to have the ball in his hands. And I was like, no, Julius, pass it to D Rose. and Julius Randle pulls up for a mid-range jumper, knocks it down. Hits a big-time deep two with like literally 2 or 3 defenders on him. Julius Randle was lights out, and he dominated when it mattered most down the stretch of this game. But he executed when it mattered most, and you have to be excited about that. But whenever it looked like the Knicks were going to win, I'm like, nope, this game is not over. Before you know it, RJ actually fouls Kawhi at the three-point line after Derrick Rose just hit dagger shot after dagger shot. He was amazing in this game. And of course, it would be interesting, like, who would have hit those shots down the stretch if we had Alec Burks? Would it still be Derrick Rose? I feel like we would, because, like, I feel like Derrick Rose would still hit him because he was on fire the entire game, and he's proven to be clutch down the stretch for us. But yeah, we fouled Kawhi at the three-point line, but we just kept on responding. We kept on responding no matter what adversity. They may have more talent than us, but we wanted it more tonight, and the Knicks came out with the W. But the thing I love about Reggie Bullock, when he like missed a big shot down the stretch, he's not afraid to shoot it again. And I thought Nerlens Noel did a solid job protecting the rim. We know he doesn't provide much offensively. There's going to be moments you get pissed off because he doesn't catch the basketball, but he played his ass off, and the Knicks came out with the W. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.